Jack Morrison floated in the dark space, watching his ship burn. Around him, the wreckage of Earth's first star fleet drifted like broken toys. Pieces of metal and glass caught the light from distant stars. The alien ships that had destroyed them were already gone. They had won the fight in less than 10 minutes. Jack's radio crackled to life. "Admiral Morrison, this is rescue ship Delta 7. We see you." Jack looked at his air gauge. He had maybe 20 minutes left. "Copy that, Delta 7. Get me home." The rescue ship pulled Jack inside. Through the window, he could see the remains of humanity's greatest achievement. 50 warships, built over 30 years, gone in one battle. The aliens called themselves the Zelkan Confederation. They had better weapons, better shields, better everything. Back on Earth, Jack stood before the World Council. The room was silent as he spoke. "We are not ready," he said. "We thought we were strong, but we are babies fighting giants. If we try to fight them again now, they will destroy us all." President Lisa Hamilton nodded slowly. "What do you suggest, Admiral?" Jack looked around the room. "We go silent. We stop. All contact with space. We pull back everything. We make them think we are dead or hiding, then we build. We build until we are ready." The vote was close, but it passed. Humanity would disappear from the galaxy. Dr. Ryan Burke led the shutdown of all space operations. Every satellite beyond Mars was brought home or destroyed. Every radio signal to other stars was stopped. Within 6 months, Earth went completely dark. To anyone watching from space, humanity had vanished. But they were not hiding. They were building. Lisa Hamilton, now head of the new United Earth Project, stood on the moon's surface. Around her, construction robots worked day and night. They were not building a small base, they were building something the galaxy had never seen before. "How long will it take?" asked Maya Johnson, the chief engineer. Lisa looked at the plans on her tablet. The moon was being hollowed out and rebuilt. When they were done, it would be a fortress that could move between stars. 100 years, she said. "Maybe less if we work hard." Maya whistled. "That's a long time to keep a secret." "The aliens think we are gone," Lisa said. "Let them think that. When we come back, we will be ready." The work began immediately. Every nation on Earth sent workers and materials. Old enemies became partners. The United States worked with China. Russia helped India. Everyone had the same goal. Never again would humans be helpless. Steve Parker ran the weapons development program. He had been a soldier before the alien attack. Now he was something new. "We need guns that can punch through their shields," he told his team. "We need armor that can stop their plasma cannons." His best scientist was Kate Lewis. She had studied the wreckage from the first battle. "Their weapons use focused energy," she explained. "But look at this." She showed him a piece of alien metal. "Their armor has a pattern. If we hit it at the right frequency, it becomes weak." Steve smiled. "Can we build a gun that does that?" "Give me 10 years, Kate said. 10 years became 20, then 30. Each generation of human scientists built on the work of the last. Children grew up knowing they were part of something greater. Their job was to make humanity strong enough to face the galaxy. Danny Foster was born on the moon base. His parents were both engineers working on the great project. As a child, he played in corridors that would one day hold massive guns. "What are we building, Mom?" he asked. His mother, Patricia Hill, knelt down beside him. "We are building hope, Danny. We are building a future where humans are safe." Danny grew up to become a pilot. He learned to fly the new ships that Earth was building in secret. These ships were different from the old ones. They were quiet, invisible to alien sensors. They could strike without warning and disappear like ghosts. Kevin Allen worked on the most important part of the project. He was building the computer brain that would control everything. "It has to think like a human," he told his team. "It has to be smart enough to fight aliens, but it has to remember that we are the good guys." The computer grew more complex every year. By year 50 of the project, it could plan battles that would take months to complete. By year 70, it could control 1,000 ships at once. By year 90, it was smarter than any human, but it still obeyed human orders. Linda Hayes was in charge of keeping the secret. She ran spy networks all over Earth. Anyone who might tell the aliens about the project was watched carefully. How many people know the full truth? Asked her assistant. Maybe 100, Linda said. Everyone else just knows their small part. The farmer growing food thinks he is feeding moon workers. The metal worker thinks he is making parts for Earth defenses. Only the top leaders know we are building a war fleet. As the 100th year approached, Captain Alex Torres received new orders. He was to take command of the finished project. The moon had been completely transformed. It was now a mobile battle station the size of a small planet. Around it, 12 massive warships waited in the dark. Alex stood on the command bridge and looked at Earth through the window. It looked peaceful from here. But he knew that billions of people had worked for a century to reach this moment. They had sacrificed everything to build this fleet. His radio officer approached. Sir, we are receiving signals from the Zelkan border. They are fighting a war with 2 other alien races. They have forgotten all about us. Alex nodded. Good. How long until all systems are ready? 1 week, sir. Alex looked at the red button on his command chair. When he pressed it, humanity would break its century of silence. They would return to the galaxy, but this time they would not be weak. This time they would be ready. Get me a line to Earth Command, Alex said. Tell them the silent century is over. It is time to remind the galaxy that humanity still exists. The alien at the scanning station rubbed his 4 eyes tiredly. Vextal had been watching the border for 12 years. Nothing interesting ever happened here. Space rocks drifted by, and he logged them in his computer. Today looked like another boring day. On his screen, he saw a group of asteroids moving toward the station. This was normal. Space was full of rocks. But something felt wrong. Vextal looked closer at the readings. The asteroids were moving in a straight line. Real asteroids did not do that. Computer, scan those rocks again, he said. The computer beeped. Scanning complete. Objects identified as natural asteroids. Composition, iron and stone. Vextal frowned. The computer said they were rocks, but rocks did not move in perfect formation. He reached for the alarm button, but it was too late. The asteroids began to change. Their surfaces rippled like water. Metal and glass appeared where stone had been moments before. Alert! Alert! Unknown ships approaching, Vextal screamed into his radio. The first ship fired. A beam of blue light cut through the station's shields like they were made of paper. Vextal's last thought was that these ships looked familiar somehow. Then everything went white. Captain Maya Johnson watched the alien station explode through her ship's window. The UES Retribution had been hiding as an asteroid for 3 days, waiting for the right moment to attack. Her ship and 11 others had tested humanity's new camouflage technology. It worked perfectly. Target destroyed, Captain, reported her weapons officer. No distress signals sent. Maya nodded. Good. Take us to the next system. We have a lot to learn before we go home. For 6 months, Maya's small fleet had been exploring alien space. They were the first humans to leave the solar system in 100 years. Their mission was simple. Find out what had happened while humanity was silent. What they found was a galaxy at war. Colonel Steve Parker led the landing party on the planet Corex 7. His team wore special suits that made them look like the local aliens. The technology was amazing. Tiny machines changed their skin color and shape. Even their voices sounded alien. Steve walked through the alien city, listening to conversations. The Zelkans were fighting 2 other races. The first was called the Vorthak Empire. They were made of living crystal and thought all other life was dirty. The second was the Nixari Collective. They shared one giant mind and wanted to control everything. The war has been going on for 30 years, Steve reported to his team. Billions are dead. Whole planets have been destroyed. They are so busy fighting each other they have forgotten about us completely. Commander Kate Lewis worked from the ship, reading stolen alien computer files. What she learned made her sick. The three alien races had been peaceful once, but something had changed. Them. They became afraid of each other, then angry, then violent. "Captain, you need to see this," Kate called Maya to her station. "I found records from before the war. There were dozens of smaller alien races, but look at this list from last year." Maya read the computer screen. "Only 3 races are listed. What happened to the others?" "They were destroyed," Kate said quietly. "Not just defeated, completely wiped out. The 3 big races killed them all to make sure they could not help their enemies." Maya felt cold. "How many?" 17 different species, gone forever. In another system, Captain Danny Foster and his crew discovered something even worse. They found a planet that had been home to peaceful traders. The aliens there had never fought anyone. They just wanted to sell goods and make art. The planet was now empty. Not just empty of people, but empty of life. The ground was black glass, the air was poison. A sign in orbit warned that this was a Nexari testing ground for new weapons. They used a whole planet to test a bomb, Danny reported. 4 billion people lived here. Now there is nothing. Patricia Hill ran the spy network from the main base. Her agents had infiltrated all 3 alien empires. The reports they sent back painted a picture of a galaxy going crazy. The aliens were not just fighting. They were competing to see who could be most cruel. "The Vorthak are taking prisoners and turning them into living statues," reported one agent. "The Nexari are experimenting on captured aliens to make better weapons. The Zelkans are destroying planets just to deny them to their enemies." Patricia shared the reports with Earth Command. The response came back quickly. "Continue gathering information. Do not reveal yourselves. Report any immediate threats to all life." That threat came sooner than expected. Kevin Allen was monitoring alien communications when he picked up a strange signal. It was coming from deep inside Nexari space. The signal was coded, but Kevin's computers were very good at breaking codes. When he read the decoded message, his blood turned to ice. "Captain Johnson, emergency priority message," he called over the radio. "The Nexari are building something called Project Final Solution. It is a weapon designed to kill all non-Nexari life in the galaxy." Maya's voice came back immediately. "How long until it is ready?" Kevin checked his calculations twice. 6 months, Captain. They plan to deploy it from 3 different points in the galaxy at the same time. Once released, every living thing that is not Nexari will die within a year. Maya was quiet for a long moment. "Kevin, are you sure about this?" "Yes, Captain. I have the technical specifications. This weapon will work. It will kill everything." Maya made the decision that would end humanity's century of silence. "Send an immediate message to Earth Command. Tell them the silence protocol is over. Tell them to deploy Bastion Prime and all available fleets. The galaxy is about to die and only we can stop it." Linda Hayes received the message at Earth Command. She read it 3 times to make sure she understood. Then she walked quickly to the secure communications room. President Alex Torres was waiting for her call. "Sir, we have a code red situation. The reconnaissance fleet has discovered an imminent threat to all galactic life." Alex listened to the report without interrupting. When Linda finished, he was quiet for several minutes. "How certain are we that this weapon will work?" "Our computers have analyzed the Nexari specifications. The weapon will definitely work as designed. Every non-Nexari in the galaxy will die." Alex looked out the window at Earth. Children were playing. In parks, people were going about their normal lives. They had no idea that aliens planned to kill them all in 6 months. "Send the deployment order," Alex said. "Wake up the fleet. Humanity is going back to war." Across the solar system, alarms began to sound. On the moon, Bastion Prime powered up its engines for the first time in 20 years. Around it, the 12 Guardian-class battleships prepared for departure. In hidden bases throughout the solar system, thousands of smaller ships received their orders. Captain Maya Johnson received the confirmation signal as her ship approached the edge of Nexari space. "All units, this is Earth Command. The silent century is officially over. You are authorized to engage all hostile alien forces. Show them what humanity has built in 100 years of silence." Maya smiled as she looked at her tactical display. Hundreds of human ships were appearing throughout the galaxy, decloaking from their hiding places. The aliens thought they had forgotten about humanity. They were about to learn how wrong they were. All ships, this is Captain Johnson. Operation Galactic Dawn is now active. Let us remind the galaxy that humanity has returned. Admiral Danny Foster stood on the command deck of Bastion Prime as it jumped through space for the first time in decades. The massive fortress emerged from hyperspace at the edge of a colorful gas cloud. The jump had worked perfectly. No alien sensors could detect them here. But what Danny saw through the main window made his heart sink. The star system ahead of them was destroyed. Broken planets drifted where green worlds had once lived. Ships from all three alien races floated dead. In space, their crews long gone. Report, Danny called to his officers. Lieutenant Patricia Hill checked her instruments. Sir, this system used to be called Theta Centauri. Records show it had 5 planets. 3 of them supported life. Total population was about 12 billion people. Danny looked at the wreckage floating past his ship. What happened here? Long range. Sensors show evidence of a massive battle, sir. All 3 alien fleets were here at the same time. They fought until they destroyed everything, including themselves. General Kevin Allen joined Danny at the window. Sir, we are detecting something else. There are escape pods scattered throughout the system. Some of them might still have survivors. Danny nodded. Send rescue teams immediately, save anyone we can find. The rescue operation took 12 hours. Human ships carefully collected hundreds of escape pods. Most were empty, their occupants dead from cold or lack of air. But 37 pods still had living aliens inside. Dr. Linda Hayes examined the survivors in the medical bay. They came from a race called the Polani, peaceful traders who had been caught in the middle of the 3-way war. The survivors were terrified and confused. Who are you? Asked their leader, a small blue alien named Korath. Your ships do not match any known design. Linda smiled gently. We are humans. We come from a place called Earth. We are here to help. Korath's large eyes grew even larger. Humans? But you are extinct. The great powers destroyed your fleet a century ago. We got better, Linda said. Can you tell us what happened here? Korath's story was horrible but simple. The Polani had been neutral in the Galactic War. They just wanted to trade goods and live peacefully. But when Zelkan forces attacked a Vorthak convoy in Polani space, all 3 alien fleets converged on the system. They did not care that we lived here, Korath said sadly. They fought their war in our homes. When it was over, our planets were gone. 5 billion Polani died because we were in the wrong place. Meanwhile, Commander Ashley Brown led a scouting mission to the next star system. What she found there was even worse. The Nexari had built a harvesting station around a living planet. Giant machines were sucking the life out of the world below, turning plants and animals into raw materials for their war effort. There are still people down there, reported her sensor officer. Maybe 1 million survivors hiding in underground cities. Ashley made a quick decision. All ships, attack formation. We are going to shut down that harvesting operation. The Nexari never saw the human ships coming. Ashley's squadron appeared out of nowhere, their weapons already firing. The alien harvesting ships exploded like fireworks. In less than 10 minutes, the entire operation was destroyed. Ashley opened a communication channel to the planet below. This is Commander Brown of the human fleet. The harvesting operation has been destroyed. You are safe. The response came, in a shaky voice. Humans? But humans are gone. Everyone knows this. We came back, Ashley said, and we are not going anywhere. Back on Bastion Prime, Admiral Foster was learning just how bad the galactic situation had become. His intelligence teams had been studying captured alien data for days. The picture they painted was of a galaxy consuming itself. Captain Nick Davis reported the military situation. Sir, the 3 alien empires have been fighting for 30 years. They have destroyed over 400 star systems. Conservative estimates put the death toll at over 2 trillion beings. Danny felt sick. 2 trillion? That's just the confirmed deaths, sir. Many smaller races have been completely wiped out. Others have been enslaved or used as test subjects for new weapons. Colonel Greg Wilson handled the analysis of alien military technology. Sir, the good news is that their technology has not improved much since our first contact. They have been too busy fighting to develop new weapons. Our equipment is significantly better than theirs. What about their numbers? Danny asked. That's the problem, sir. The Nexari alone have over 10,000 warships. The Vorthak have about 8,000. The Zelkins have 12,000. Combined, they outnumber us 50 to 1. Dr. Amy Rodriguez brought even worse news. Sir, I have been analyzing the Nexari bioweapon project. It is more advanced than we thought. They have already tested it on 3 different planets. Every living thing on those worlds died within hours. Danny looked at the tactical display showing the positions of alien fleets. Throughout the galaxy, humanity had built an incredible force, but they were still vastly outnumbered. How could they possibly stop 3 massive empires? The answer came from an unexpected source. Chief Scientist Carl Thompson had been studying alien psychology and culture. Sir, I think I know why the war has lasted so long. Explain, Danny said. The 3 empires are fighting a stalemate. Each one is powerful enough to hurt the others, but none is strong enough to win completely. They are locked in an endless cycle of attack and revenge. How does that help us? Carl smiled. Because we are the wild card they never saw coming. We can tip the balance. If we help one side win quickly, the war ends. If we attack all 3 sides equally, they might stop fighting each other and work together against us. Danny thought about this. What do you suggest? We pick our battles carefully. We save civilians when we can. We gather intelligence, and we wait for the right moment to strike at the bioweapon project. That moment came sooner than expected. Long-range sensors detected a massive Nexari fleet movement. 3 huge fleets were converging on a secret research station in the Andromeda Reach. Intelligence suggested this was where they planned to finalize their galaxy-killing weapon. Admiral Foster called his senior staff to the command center. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. If the Nexari complete their bioweapon, every living thing in the galaxy except them will die. We have to stop them. Captain Maya Johnson had just returned from her reconnaissance mission. Sir, how many ships are we talking about? Intelligence estimates 3,000 Nexari vessels converging on the research station. It's the largest fleet movement we have recorded. Colonel Wilson whistled. That's 3 times our entire fleet. Strength? I know, Danny said. But if we don't stop them now, there won't be a galaxy left to save. All ships are to prepare for immediate departure. We jump to the Andromeda Reach in 6 hours. As Bastion Prime and its escort fleet prepared for the most important battle in galactic history, Danny stood alone on the observation deck. Through the armored glass, he could see Earth in the distance. It looked so small and peaceful from here. His communication officer approached. Sir, we are receiving final messages from the reconnaissance teams throughout the galaxy. They report massive civilian casualties on 17 different worlds. The aliens are accelerating their campaign of extermination. Danny nodded grimly. Send a message to all human forces. Tell them we go into battle not just for humanity, but for every peaceful race that wants to live free from fear. Today we find out if a century of preparation was enough. The great fleet began to move. Bastion Prime, the mobile fortress that had once been Earth's moon, led the way. Behind it came 12 Guardian-class battleships, each one the size of a small city. Around them flew hundreds of smaller ships, their hulls gleaming with advanced armor. As they jumped into hyperspace, heading for the most important battle in galactic history, every human crew member knew the same thing. They were outnumbered, outgunned, and facing an enemy that had been fighting wars for decades. But they had something the aliens did not have. They had spent a century learning from their first defeat. They had built their ships and trained their crews for this exact moment. Most importantly, they were fighting not for conquest or revenge, but to save life itself. The silent century was over. Now it was time to show the galaxy what humanity had learned in the dark. Admiral Helen Martinez stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance as 3 different alien fleets surrounded her position. The Zelkan Confederation had sent 500 ships. The Vorthak Empire had deployed 600 crystalline vessels. The remaining Nixari forces numbered 400 bioships. All three empires had one demand: humanity must surrender or face total destruction. Helen looked at the communication screen showing the three alien commanders. Supreme Admiral Gorthak of the Zelkans was the same species that had destroyed Earth's first fleet a century ago. Emperor Kreshtak of the Vorthak looked like a giant made of living diamond. Queen Mind Veltara of the Nexari spoke with a voice like 1,000 whispers. "You have interfered with galactic order for the last time," said Gorthak. "Surrender now, and we will make your deaths quick." Helen smiled coldly. "Before we discuss surrender, let me show you something." She pressed a button on her command chair. Across the galaxy and over 1,000 star systems, space began to shimmer. Thousands of human ships decloaked simultaneously, revealing the true scope of humanity's silent century. The alien commanders stared in shock as their tactical displays lit up with contacts. Human fleets surrounded every major alien world. Battle stations materialized near important trade routes. Defensive platforms appeared around planets that had been thought empty. "Impossible," whispered Emperor Kreshetak. "Our sensors detected nothing." "That was the point," Helen replied. "You thought you destroyed us a century ago. You forgot the most important rule of war: never assume your enemy is dead until you see the body." Captain Paul Tucker commanded the Liberation Fleet attacking the Vorthak slave worlds. For decades, the Crystal Empire had captured other species and forced them to work in terrible conditions. Paul's ships appeared without warning above 3 different slave planets. "This is Captain Tucker of the Human Liberation Fleet," he broadcast to the planets below. "Your slavery is over. Repeat, your slavery is over. Human forces are deploying to secure your freedom." The Vorthak guards on the planets below tried to stop the liberation, but their weapons were no match for human technology. Quantum shields protected the landing forces while plasma cutters freed millions of enslaved aliens from their crystal prisons. Dr. Carl Thompson led the diplomatic teams that made contact with rebel movements throughout the galaxy. Not all aliens supported their government's endless wars. Many species wanted peace but were too afraid to resist their military leaders. "We are not here to conquer," Carl explained to a secret meeting of Zelkan civilians. "We are here to offer you a choice. Continue following leaders who have brought you nothing but war, or help us build something better." The response was immediate. Rebel cells that had been hiding for decades suddenly came out into the open. Alien scientists shared intelligence about their own government's weaknesses. Peaceful species that had been forced to support the war effort began sabotaging military production. General Monica Lee coordinated the largest military operation in galactic history. Human fleets struck at all 3 alien capitals at exactly the same time. The aliens had never faced an enemy that could attack everywhere at once. The battle for Zelkan Prime lasted 6 hours. Human ships materialized inside the planet's defensive grid and disabled the orbital platforms before they could fire. Ground forces landed and took control of government buildings while Zelkan forces were still trying to understand what was happening. The assault on the Vorthak homeworld was even more spectacular. The crystal beings lived inside a planet made entirely of living gem. Human weapons that could cut through normal armor were useless against crystalline structures. But humanity had prepared for this too. "Deploy the resonance bombs," ordered Captain Danny Foster as his fleet approached the crystal planet. The bombs did not explode in the normal way. Instead, they sent sound waves through the planet's crystal structure, creating vibrations that shattered entire cities. The attack on the Nixari home system was the most dangerous. The bioships could adapt to human weapons, but they could not adapt fast enough. Human fleets used different weapon types every few minutes, never giving the living ships time to evolve defenses. But the alien leaders had one final card to play. As human forces closed in on their capitals, all 3 empires made the same desperate decision. They would unite their remaining fleets and attack Earth itself. If humanity wanted to interfere with galactic order, they would pay the ultimate price. Admiral Martinez received the warning from deep space sensors. "Ma'am, we have multiple hyperspace signatures approaching the solar system. All 3 alien fleets are converging on Earth." Helen was not surprised. She had expected this moment. Signal Earth Defense Command. Tell them it is time to reveal our final secret. Earth's moon had been rebuilt as Bastion Prime, but Bastion Prime had been destroyed in the battle at Andromeda Reach. What the aliens did not know was that Earth had another moon. A secret one. Luna 2 had been built in the asteroid belt and hidden behind advanced camouflage for 50 years. It was twice the size of Bastion Prime, and armed with weapons that made the first fortress look like a toy. As the alien fleets entered the solar system, Luna 2 decloaked between Earth and Mars. "This is Admiral Foster commanding Luna 2, came a familiar voice over the radio. "Did you miss us?" Danny Foster had not died when Bastion Prime was destroyed. He had been transferred to command the secret fortress months before the final battle. Now he faced the combined alien fleets with humanity's ultimate weapon. But Luna 2 was not alone. The asteroid belt itself came alive as hundreds of hidden defense platforms revealed themselves. Mars opened up to show massive gun batteries built into the planet's surface. Even Earth's orbital space stations dropped their civilian disguises and showed their true nature as military fortresses. The alien fleets found themselves facing not just one planet's defenses, but an entire star system designed for war. The final battle lasted 3 days. The aliens fought bravely, but they were facing an enemy that had spent a century preparing for this exact moment. Human weapons that had been kept secret were finally revealed. Ships that moved faster than light itself. Shields that could absorb entire stars' worth of energy. Computers that could predict enemy movements before they happened. When the smoke cleared, the 3 alien fleets were defeated. Not destroyed, but beaten so completely that further resistance was impossible. Admiral Martinez offered the alien commanders the same choice humanity had given their populations. Surrender and help us build a better galaxy, or continue fighting and watch your species destroy themselves. The war crimes trials took place on a neutral space station built jointly by humans and peaceful alien species. The galaxy learned the full truth of what the 3 empires had done during their 30-year war. Billions dead, entire species extinct, planets destroyed for no reason other than spite. But humanity's justice was different from alien justice. Instead of execution or imprisonment, the war criminals were given a chance to help rebuild what they had destroyed. Former enemy commanders worked alongside human engineers to design new colonies for refugee populations. Admiral Martinez stood on the observation deck of the new Galactic Assembly Station. Below her, representatives from over 200 different species worked together to write a constitution for their shared future. The document was based on principles humanity had learned during their own difficult history: democracy, individual rights, and the peaceful resolution of conflicts. Captain. Maya Johnson approached with the final casualty reports from the war. "Ma'am, final numbers are in. Human military casualties, 47,000. Alien military casualties, 2 million. Civilian casualties saved by our intervention, estimated at over 50 billion. Helen nodded solemnly. Every human death was a tragedy. But they had prevented a genocide that would have killed trillions. And the bioweapon? Dr. Rodriguez's team has developed a complete cure. Even if any samples survived, we can neutralize them immediately." 5 years after the end of the Galactic War, Helen stood in the same place where Admiral Morrison had once faced the World Council. But this time, she was not reporting a defeat. She was reporting the dawn of a new age. "The galaxy is at peace," she told the assembly of human and alien leaders. Not the peace of the grave that the empires offered, but the peace of cooperation. Former enemies work together. Former slaves build their own governments. The galaxy's children can grow up without fear. An alien delegate, one of the rescued slaves from the Vorthak world, stood to ask a question. "Admiral Martinez, why did humanity choose to save us instead of conquering us? You had the power to rule the galaxy." Helen smiled as she remembered Admiral Morrison's words from a century before. "Because now we are ready, not just to fight but to lead the galaxy toward something better than war." The Great Assembly voted unanimously to establish the Galactic Cooperation Council with its headquarters on Earth. The planet that had once been nearly destroyed by alien invasion became the center of an alliance spanning millions of worlds. In the end, humanity's greatest weapon had not been their planet-sized fleets or their advanced technology. It had been their ability to see beyond conquest and revenge to something better. Admiral Christopher Young stood on the bridge of Bastion Prime as the human fleet dropped out of hyperspace. Before them stretched the Andromeda Reach, and in its center, the most terrifying sight in the galaxy. 3,000 Nexari bioships surrounded a massive research station like a swarm of angry insects. The Nexari ships were alive. Their hulls pulsed with veins of green light. Some looked like giant squids with metal tentacles. Others resembled enormous spiders with weapon pods instead of legs. All of them were focused on the central station, where the galaxy-killing weapon was being completed. "My God," whispered Captain Ashley Brown from her fighter squadron. "There are so many of them." Christopher activated the fleet-wide communication system. "All units, this is Admiral Young. You are looking at the enemy that wants to kill every living thing in the galaxy except themselves. Today we stop them. Today we save the universe." The battle began when Commander Nick Davis led his stealth destroyer squadron into the heart of the Nexari formation. His ships appeared from nowhere, their quantum weapons tearing through bioship, hulls like they were made of paper. The aliens had never seen weapons like these before, but the Nexari were not helpless. Their bioships began to change, growing new armor and weapons in real time. The living hulls adapted to each human attack, becoming stronger with every hit they survived. "Sir, they are learning from our weapons," reported Captain Maya Johnson from the UES Retribution. "Their hulls are growing thicker where we hit them." Christopher nodded. He had expected this. "Switch to rotation pattern 7. No ship fires the same weapon twice in a row. Keep them guessing." The space battle became a deadly dance. Human ships appeared and disappeared like ghosts, striking fast and vanishing before the enemy could respond. But there were so many Nexari ships that even perfect tactics could not overcome the numbers. Colonel Greg Wilson led the most dangerous mission of all. While the fleet fought in space, he took 500 Marines in assault pods directly to the research station. Their job was to get inside and destroy the bioweapon before it could be completed. The research station was a nightmare of living metal and organic computers. Corridors pulsed like arteries. The walls grew spikes that tried to stab anyone who passed. Worst of all, the station was defended by Nexari warrior forms, aliens bred specifically for close combat. Greg's Marines wore powered armor that made them twice as strong and 3 times as fast as normal humans. But the Nexari warriors were designed to kill. They had claws that could cut through steel and acid blood that melted anything it touched. "Push forward!" Greg shouted as his men fought through a corridor filled with warrior forms. "The bioweapon lab is just ahead." Dr. Amy Rodriguez was with the assault team, her job to analyze and disable the weapon once they found it. As they broke into the main laboratory, she saw something that made her stomach turn. The bioweapon was already complete. Thousands of metal containers filled with deadly virus waited to be loaded onto delivery ships. "Colonel, we are too late," she called. "The weapon is finished." Greg looked at the containers. There were too many to destroy quickly. "How long until they can deploy it?" Amy checked the alien computers. "The loading ships arrive in 30 minutes. Once they take the containers, they can spread the weapon throughout the galaxy in days." Outside, the space battle was going badly for humanity. Despite their superior technology, the human fleet was slowly being overwhelmed by sheer numbers. Bastion Prime's shields were holding, but the smaller ships were taking heavy damage. Captain Ashley Brown's fighter squadron was down to half strength. Her remaining pilots were exhausted from hours of constant combat. "Admiral, we cannot hold them much longer," she reported. Christopher watched his tactical display as red warning lights showed damaged human ships throughout the formation. He had to make a choice: retreat and let the bioweapon be deployed, or make a final desperate gamble. "All ships, this is Admiral Young. I am implementing Protocol Omega. Bastion Prime will ram the research station at maximum velocity. All other ships are to retreat to minimum safe distance." His bridge crew stared at him in shock. Protocol Omega was suicide. Bastion Prime was not just a ship, it was humanity's greatest achievement. To destroy it would cripple the human fleet. "Sir," said his tactical officer, "Bastion Prime is our most powerful ship. Without it, we cannot fight the other alien empires." Christopher looked at the screen showing the bioweapon containers being loaded onto transport ships. "If we do not stop this weapon now, there will be no one left to fight for." Commander Linda Hayes, his second-in-command, understood immediately. "Sir, ramming the station will seal the quantum tunnel they use to transport the bioweapon. Even if some containers escape, they cannot manufacture more." "Exactly." Christopher turned to his helmsman. "Set collision course with the research station. All power to forward shields and engines." As Bastion Prime began its final charge, the Nexari fleet tried desperately to stop it. Bioships threw themselves at the massive fortress, their weapons blazing. But Bastion Prime had been built to survive anything the galaxy could throw at it. The mobile fortress plowed through the enemy formation like a battering ram. Nexari ships exploded against its shields or were crushed under its bulk. Nothing could stop the planet-sized weapon from reaching its target. Inside the research station, Colonel Wilson's team felt the building shake as Bastion Prime approached. "All Marines, immediate evacuation," Greg shouted. "This whole place is about to become space dust." Dr. Rodriguez grabbed as many bioweapon samples as she could carry. If she could analyze them, maybe human scientists could develop a cure. "Colonel, I have the data. Let's go." The assault teams raced for their escape pods as the station's structure began to collapse around them. Gravity generators failed, sending equipment and aliens floating in all directions. Emergency lights flashed red as the station's living computers screamed warnings in the Nexari language. Bastion Prime hit the research station at nearly the speed of light. The impact was visible from 3 star systems away. The mobile fortress and the bioweapon facility disappeared in a ball of white fire that burned brighter than the local sun. When the explosion cleared, both were gone. The quantum tunnel that connected the station to Nexari space had collapsed. Most of the bioweapon containers had been destroyed. But the victory came at a terrible cost. Admiral Young and 3,000 crew members had died with Bastion Prime. Humanity's greatest weapon was gone. The surviving human fleet was battered and outnumbered. Commander Linda Hayes, now the senior officer, took command of the remaining ships from the heavy cruiser UES Defiance. Around her, the wreckage of the greatest battle in galactic history drifted in space. "Status report," she called to her officers. "Ma'am, we have lost 40% of our fleet. Bastion Prime is destroyed. Enemy casualties are estimated at 70%, but there are still over 900 Nexari ships operational." Linda looked at the tactical display. The battle was won, but at a cost that might doom humanity's war effort. And now, long range, sensors were detecting something worse. "Ma'am," called her communications officer, "we are receiving multiple signals from throughout the galaxy. Zelkin and Vorthak fleets are moving toward our position. The explosion was visible across half the galaxy. They know we are here." Linda realized the terrible truth. By destroying the bioweapon, humanity had revealed their presence to the other alien empires. All 3 alien races now knew that humans had returned with advanced technology. Soon, humanity would face the combined might of 3 galactic empires. "Send a message to Earth Command," Linda ordered. "Tell them Phase 1 is complete. The bioweapon has been stopped. But we are about to face the real war. Tell them to activate all reserve fleets and prepare the home system for siege." As the surviving human ships regrouped and prepared for the battles to come, Linda looked at the space where Bastion Prime had died. Admiral Young's sacrifice had saved the galaxy from genocide. Now it was up to the living to make sure his death meant something. The Nexari bioweapon was destroyed, but 3 alien empires were converging on human positions throughout the galaxy. The real war was just beginning. "All ships," Linda broadcast to her fleet, "set course for the outer colonies. We have civilians to evacuate and defenses to prepare. The aliens wanted a war with humanity. Now they are going to get one."